So the next question on the list is, what new belief or habit that you've developed in the last 5 years has been the most valuable for you? And two things come to mind for me, and these are probably beliefs that I had 4-5 years ago, but they were more like subconscious or implicit. In the last 5 years, I've really crystallized them in my own mind, and that's allowed me to act on them at a much higher level with corresponding results. So the first one is that knowledge is not real power. Taking action on knowledge is power. That intelligence is doing what you know you should do. That taking action is what really matters. Execution is the game, and the only thing that produces results and it makes things better is taking a lot of action and consistent action and moving forward. So the first belief that's made a substantial difference for me in the last 5 years, and again, it was there before, but I really kind of crystallized it for myself in the last 5 years, and it kind of really codified it and made it into like a regular daily focus, is once I learn something useful, I demand that I put it into action. I actually do something about what I've learned. And this is permeated my entire life. Like, I learned about the value of diaphragmatic breathing in the relatively recent past. And so that I adopted it as part of my morning meditation ritual fairly recently. I learned that many of the world's most successful people use meditation as part of their daily routines, and so I adopted it and I actually take action on it, and I do it regularly now. I learn new marketing skills regularly, and I demand I go out and I put them into practice right away so that I start to internalize this new skill and develop it. Like, I think one of the things that separates all of the greats versus the people that make very little progress are the greats, the ones that take a lot of action very consistently, way past the point where, like, way after the point where they feel like doing it, or where they are in the mood to do it, or where it feels good or comfortable. So that'd be the first belief that comes to mind for me, is that the whole game is about taking a lot of action. I had a thought. Give me a second. I'm trying to remember what that second belief was, because there are two that came to mind readily when I asked myself that question. What beliefs that I've had in the last 5 years? Another belief that I've really, again, these are things that I believed, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but they've been the most crystallized and have taken the greatest, clarity of form in the last 5 years for me, is that discomfort is something to be sought. That discomfort itself is a valuable thing. That eustress, which is positive stresses on the body that lead to positive change, that's something that should be actively sought. So I regularly seek and value discomfort. In relationships, the willingness to have that difficult conversation, physically, the actively seeking to get to that point where, all right, this is not fun or enjoyable anymore, and I believe that the point at which you are no longer in the mood to do a certain exercise or workout is the point at which your progress begins. The point where it's it becomes uncomfortable, and maybe even like dis-enjoyable or whatever you want to say, unenjoyable, that's the point at which it becomes the most valuable for you. And so I actively seek that point, actively seek that that feeling. On the wealth building side, the point at which the amount of work that you're doing, or the intensity or the rigors of the work that you're doing, are not pleasant, that is the point where growth is possible and where growth can actually happen. So to sum it up, first, everything is about taking action, and taking action is what matters the most. And second, actively seeking discomfort as a way of creating real, meaningful growth personally.